and it dumps. And then I get on the brakes. What's up, guys? Welcome to Blake's Garage. Today I wanted to talk about the BMW M4 and the DCT transmission. So this is basically the same transmission you're going to find on any F8X platform, which would be an F87, F82, or an F80 M3. So why is this transmission awesome? Because it's a dual clutch transmission. And if you drive this thing properly, which by properly I mean with traction control fully defeated, the transmission is absolutely amazing. So a lot of people, I think, that have these cars really don't take advantage of these transmissions or really know the full capabilities of the vehicle, because at the most, sorry about that, guys, that's some track pads on the car, that nice good squeak. Got a track day coming up on Saturday. A lot of people don't drive this car with traction control off, or even in the full shift intensities, or in manual mode at all. And if you're not doing that, and you're not, putting the car into sport mode or with full traction control off, you're really not using the full capabilities of this car. Honestly, the car is kind of slow with all those nannies on, and if you've never taken them off, you don't really realize that. And a lot of people lean on those particular nannies, and that's why the first time they take it off, they end up crashing the car, sending it into a ditch, sending it into a tree, ripping off some curbs, or busting some wheels up and totaling the car. So it's something to be aware of. But also, in my opinion, if you have one of these cars, you need to learn how to drive it with the traction control off. So I wanted to go over the DCT transmission, kind of show you some of the cool things that it does. I don't think a lot of people even know this. If you've never driven the car without traction control off, the DCT actually does quite a few things that you're not even aware of. So let's jump into that real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So first off, car is in efficient mode. We're stopped. We are in manual. I want to put it in drive, efficient. This is slow mode, all traction control on. I'm just gonna nail the throttle, all right? All right, so you can see the car, it goes pretty decent, right? But to me, the car feels really slow in that particular mode. Now, kind of let me show you the difference here when we put the car in my normal mode, which is M2 is what I always drive this thing in. And I'll strap it on my head because I like to have both hands available. This is what happens when you have traction control off and you floor it. Black stripes. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but basically the car will rev up and dump the dual clutch, which is absolutely awesome. So something that I'm really disappointed about with the new G series cars, we'll take a couple corners here. The new G series is that well, the transmission is now a ZF. So now something that I'm really kind of disappointed with is the new G series has a ZF transmission, which has a torque converter. So what's the bummer about that? Well, you don't have this like direct drive feel, if you will, like you did on this car before, when you'd basically, try to get the beans or whatever, and you're just throwing it around, having a little bit of fun. It's just not gonna feel the same. The quickness of this DCT is just absolutely amazing, and you get that quick rev match downshift, if you will, and all that stuff. I mean, the car just feels absolutely dialed and amazing. So now that we've got some heat in the tires, now I want to show you from a stop MDM mode, right? So the car is gonna hook, it's not gonna spin the tires. Dead stop, we're gonna floor it, and I'll show you how it goes. it did. Traction control is blinking, and it's blinking because it wants to blow the freaking tires off. Now the MDM mode is good. It is a really nice traction control thing. It does allow a little bit of wheel slip, but it's just not the same, guys. It's just not the same at all. So yeah, those are, you know, some of the things that the dual clutch does. Also, because it's not a torque converter, you can't do like your traditional brake stand with a torque converter. So like, let me show you guys. Let's do it in MDM. We're just gonna floor it. See how it doesn't like do a burnout? That was foot to the floor and brake. That doesn't happen, right? So if you put the traction control off, same thing, foot to the floor, it does launch control, right? One reason I'm not a huge proponent of the launch control is it's weird. You have to have traction control fully off, which is fine with me, you know, it's whatever. It makes sense, you know, they're trying to give you the full beans of the car. They're trying to give you all the horsepower and, you know, really let you get going. But the car automatically upshifts, which is odd because you're in manual, full shift intensity and traction control off. And it's just a weird thing. If you hit the shifters up, it'll skip a gear. You're actually just supposed to do that. I really don't like the launch control in this car. It is kind of weird, and that's the one reason why. Like, other than it auto shifting for me, I love it. And I do understand it. I think the car's computer kind of figures out like what the best shift point is. Maybe it uses the G meter and maybe, you know, it looks at like how much G-force it's putting, you know, down in a straight line, if you will, and goes, okay, it's starting to fall off, let's shift, let's put it back in that power band. I think that's what it does. If you kind of watch the lights on the gauge, it kind of seems like what it does. But we're gonna go, what it's gonna do, it's gonna rev up. I can actually increase that. I can launch it. I'm not gonna hit the paddles. See that? It didn't hit the paddles at all. The car automatically shifts because I'm still on the kickdown, okay? So also you get wheel spin, and that's why they make you turn the traction control off. But you know, the launch control, it tries to control that, if you will. So, you know, doing a burnout before that is ideal. How do you do a burnout? You just mat the freaking car with the brake off. No brake stand here. You gotta mat it, it'll rev up, dump the dual clutch, which is the clutch. You'll see it go brum up to 5, do a burnout, spin the tires, get on the brakes real quick, right? It's kind of annoying if it's your first time doing that. And honestly, I don't think a lot of people have ever even launched their M3s or M4s, but yeah, something to check out. One thing I absolutely love about the dual clutch too as well, when you're in a red light, you take your foot off the brake and your foot's not on the gas, car doesn't go anywhere. You know, with a traditional torque converter, the car starts to go. Well, basically when you're fully stopped, right? Hopefully we can see the gauges here. Watch me floor it real quick. Okay, I let off though, right? It didn't dump, it didn't go anywhere. Right? Now, watch what happens when I floor it and it dumps. And then I get on the brakes. Right? And then we get up and go. So that's how you do a little bit of a brake stand. You actually have to dump the clutch like that and then let the car do a burnout. So obviously you don't want it to bang on limiter. Sorry, I was like a little distracted there because it is surprising how fast this car gets to limiter. And then it's a little bit of a task if you don't do it all the time, which I honestly, like, that's the 4th brake stand, if you will, that I've kind of done in the car where like I'm sitting and roasting the tires. Really, I only do it at the track. But you know, that's how cool this transmission is. That's the same idea minus drop in the clutch. It's actually almost a little bit harder than with a clutch, but it's the same principles where you gotta like get back on the brake, but just a little bit to hold it there, and then the car will, like, you know, it'll like light the tires up. And then obviously you got to be like aware because you're gonna be freaking drifting, things got posy, it's ready to go, and the car is absolutely a blast and it's very fun. So obviously those are closed roads, so don't try that at home. Porsche, you know, with the PDK, the double couplung dual clutch transmission, if you will. that thing is amazing. It is one of the best transmissions you can get out there, and it's an awesome transmission. It's just really sad to see BMW go, we don't need that, you know? We're gonna go for the lifestyle brand, which is why the car also weighs 3,800 pounds, like what is it, 3,880 or something like that, and then you put a driver in it, so you're like over 4,000 pounds in that car, where these ones are like, I wanna say, what was this car? Was it 33? Oh, I think it was 3360 or something like that, with like a full tank of gas when I rated at the track or something like that, which is still a lot for a sports car, but not nearly as much weight as the new G80 or G82, which is just, it's really sad, honestly. I feel like this is something that not a lot of people are talking about, and this is honestly the worst thing about the G8X platform is the transmission. Yes, you can get a manual transmission. I know all you guys are probably saying, why didn't you just get the manual transmission? First off, these cars are so amazing. I find that putting a manual transmission in them just kind of dumbs it down. These cars really do need the dual clutch. If you ever drive the dual clutch, you will understand that it is superior. It is absolutely amazing, and it is the transmission to get. Manual is great. If you guys are complaining, oh, it's because you don't know how to drive manual, well, I'm gonna say this right now. Do you rev match downshift every time you drive a manual car? The answer is no, you don't drive manual. Do you heel toe downshift every time you come to a red light? If the answer is no, then you don't know how to drive manual. If you do those things and you actually do know how to drive manual in the proper sporty form, then talk a little bit of crap, but also have you driven a dual clutch? Go drive a proper dual clutch. By that I mean one of these, a Porsche, the PDK, Audi's dual clutch, pretty good. Obviously Ferrari and stuff like that. Lambo, like all those dual clutches are gonna be awesome as well. And there's a reason that those cars come with them. But I think your mind will be changed and you'll actually see how much this car is like a manual transmission. Now my main thing is, for all of that, right, is I'm saying, if you do not do those things and your car auto blip downshifts for you, like auto rev matches, because you don't know how to do it, that's lame. I also don't like a car that auto rev match downshifts. I want that off because I do it every time I shift. So, that's kind of the thing. If you like that because you don't know how to do it, cool. But I feel that you should learn how to do that, or else you're gonna hop into a car, you're gonna come into a corner, downshift without rev matching or without heel toe, downshifting, and you're gonna upset the balance of the car, fly off the track, or fly off the road, or any of those things. It's just basic car dynamics that you guys should be learning and kind of figuring out. So that's kind of why I say that. And I also have multiple manual cars. What do I have? I got three other manual cars, so it's like whatever, it's fun. But the dual clutch I have not gotten tired of. It is an amazing transmission, and honestly I would do a DCT swap into one of my other BMWs, into my E36, into my E30. I would totally do it because the transmission is amazing. It's more like a sequential than anything. And I'm sure none of you guys are like, oh, that dog box is lame. Oh man, that Samsonas is lame. Why did you put that sequential shifter in your car? No one says that, right? No one says that. So that's basically what these transmissions are like. What's great too is the flappy paddle right here. You can downshift as you want or upshift. Unlike Porsche, BMW does it the correct way, and unlike Audi, they do it the correct way, where when you pull back, it's just like a sequential and it goes up a gear, and when you're under braking, you can hit it down a gear. Same with the little flappy paddles right here. So yeah, I hope that's like a little overview for you guys. I want to tell you the mode that I drive the car in, and that is this right here: traction control full off, sport plus throttle, comfort suspension, and comfort steering, full shift intensity. That is what I do right there, and that is what I like because it is fun. I know what I got to do with the car. I'm constantly downshifting and upshifting, it's is what it is. drive the car like it's a manual, so it doesn't get boring. I don't like lose attention or anything like that, you know, because it's still like semi-automatic, if you will, you know. It's still a manual car, if you will, because it'll peg rev limiter, you know, it'll hang on the limit as long as it wants. So sorry if I chatted your ear off, guys, but that was just kind of something that I wanted to show. Also, I'm going to get some new rear tires for the track day coming up this weekend, some R888Rs, 305s in the rear, 305, 35 R18s. These ones are spanked. That's what I have on the car currently. So if you're wondering, like, this car kind of hooked up kind of quick, and honestly, that's kind of quick, guys. So when we're doing those little burnouts, we'll insert one of those right here. If you're on regular tires and you're doing that, it's gonna go to 4th gear if you don't let up. And also, this car will get away from you pretty quickly if you're not like used to it. So definitely be aware. There's quite a bit of people that, you know, end up crashing the first time they do that. So definitely be aware and be careful. But I recommend to learn how to drive the car with traction control off. Biggest mod you can do to one of these F8X cars is literally a driver mod. That's my opinion. They have the horsepower, they have the torque, they have the capability. Just learn how to drive the thing, and they are amazing. If you feel like you need to tune it after that, great. If you don't drive with traction control off and you think you want more power and you need to tune the car, turn traction control off. So I have a bunch of people that have been like, hey man, I tune my car full 85. I'm like, did you turn traction control off? Because they're like, it doesn't feel fast. I'm like, turn it off, but be aware the car is gonna turn into a ditch. And they're like, holy crap, man. Like, yeah, you weren't kidding. So, because I mean, when I had mine on full 85, this thing would roast the tires at 60 miles an hour, and 3rd shifting into 4th gear. So, you know, just an idea when the traction's off of how much torque these things have. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I know this was kind of like a rant. I just wanted to hit something on the way home, and before I got new tires, so I thought I'd do a couple little burners before you know, I get some new tires on the car. Later, guys, and wrench on.